look back into your past and ask yourself, where have I found success? And where did that success sabotage me? I'm guessing it probably happens to all of us in some way, shape, or form. The more aware of it you are, the better off you'll be, because you'll be able to counteract it or create more necessity.
If your number one paradigm is spouse, partner, relationship, and then you get it, most likely, if you step off the gas unconsciously, you might end up losing that, but you might not be as motivated because that was already what was motivating it underneath.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode number 1593, where we talked about balance versus juggling. Today, for episode number 1594, is your success sabotaging you? What does that mean? I had a super powerful call with somebody the other day, and they were alluding to the fact that they were kind of slowing down on being productive, and they had changed their mind about some of the things they wanted to do. And again, we were talking about this in one of the previous episodes. Sometimes I just go with what my intuition says, and I just ask the question. And I said, you don't have to answer this if it's uncomfortable at all. This person and I have a really good relationship, so I wasn't surprised that they chose to answer it. But I said, remember that person you met a few months back? How's that going? How's that relationship going? And this person perked up and had a big smile. They said, it's going amazing. It's going amazing. And I said, okay, cool, awesome. Do you think that that might be a reason we're losing some of our ambitions towards the things that we decided we wanted? And they said, yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, big time. Definitely. For the first time in a long time, I feel safe. I feel nurtured. I feel abundant. I feel all these things that I was longing for so long. And I said, yeah, my chair gave out. That's why we're laughing. I got to get it fixed. I'm out here, Jeff, and I've been busy. So yeah, that really, for me, that's why I wanted to do the episode. We've talked about this in the past too. I'm going to power through. If one of the things that motivates you is getting into a relationship, what do you do when you get into the relationship? How do you maintain the other things you were doing?
I'm in a really good mood. I just want to provide context
it's
for why
all
I'm
good.
laughing. Kev, remember back in the day we used to joke about my trick hip? Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I have a trick chair.
I pulled I injured my groin for a time, and there was a time when Kev and I were in the studio, and I would always like, have
to grab something.
Yeah, that's what that reminded me of, because all I could see is Kev's face behind the camera, and all of a sudden he's out. And,
because I lean, I don't know if it's because I'm leaning back. I have to just like lean forward. It's a whole thing. Yeah, so that's the reason I wanted to do the episode. And if we could connect it to, we've talked about the 5 M's of next level motivation. One of the 5 M's is, what is it? Because we don't say mating. Wasn't it like mating /
marriage?
Marriage.
Yep.
Instead of mating can sound kind of weird as a phrase, so we say marriage. When you get the thing that you're so motivated by, how do you keep going? That really is kind of the topic that I wanted to touch on today based on the experience of that client. And I've seen this time and time again. You and I have had this where we had a really good financial month and then we took our foot off the gas. So if your success forces you or causes you to stop doing the things that brought you success in the first place, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to sustain the success. And that is one of the things that I think a lot of us aren't really told and isn't talked about a lot. Getting success, quote unquote, is one part of it. Maintaining that success is usually as hard, if not harder, and it's the longer portion of the journey. It might take you 10 years to accomplish something, but if you want to have that level of success for the next 20 years, there's a lot that has to go into that. So I thought it would be a powerful episode.
I'm reading a book right now called Leader Shift by John Maxwell. And in the book, he talks about how a team that wins a championship often has a really hard time winning the next championship. And he talks about perks versus purpose. And he says that when you do something for the perks and then you achieve it and you succeed, you get the perks, and then all of a sudden you are not motivated anymore. Because the purpose of why you were motivated is now gone because now you have it. Whether that's Kevin and I having a big month, you see this all the time with couples. I often used to say this, as hard as this might be to hear, I think it's objectively true. Couples usually get in shape together or get out of shape together. Usually. And again, we are all the sum average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So obviously, if you're spending a lot of time with someone, you're going to get smarter together or not. You're going to get in shape together or not. And so a lot of times I would have past friends that would get into a relationship and all of a sudden they'd stop going to the gym. And here's why. The motivation under getting in shape was actually a motivation to attract their dream partner. I'm not making that wrong. What I'm saying is, how do you refill the tank once you have a partner? Because if you stop doing what you did in the beginning, you might see the end of the relationship. So if your partner, you were super into fitness, for example, crushing it, fitness goals, weight training, whatever, and you met your partner at the gym, and you two were both crushing it, fitness, awesome. And then once you get the partner, all of a sudden you're not as motivated in the gym, but they still go. Is that partner eventually going to say, you know what, maybe my partner's holding me back. Maybe I'm not as motivated as I once was. Are they going to be less attracted to you? And are you going to still have that core value in common? So to the point of this episode, what is it that I think one of the reasons why we're doing this episode is I had a client who went through the paradigms. If anyone is curious, 2 things. Number 1, a paradigm is just a fancy word for your deep belief about what the purpose of life is. So there's a bunch of different examples. If you have a family paradigm, it means that everything revolves around family. If you have a growth paradigm, everything revolves around growth. If you have a mission paradigm, everything revolves around achieving whatever your mission is, whatever your purpose is, that kind of thing. Business paradigm, everything revolves around money and business. I want to do this at some point. We're doing workshops now at NLU. And I want to do a workshop at some point, and I don't know when, but I want to sit down with people and I want to help them get clear on their paradigms, and I want them to have their top 3. And so I'm going to use myself as an example. Prior to my car accident at 26, when I had a big transformation, a big paradigm shift, I grew up in these 3 paradigms. The first one was achievement. I had an achievement-centered paradigm. I cared so deeply about achievement, and I want everyone thinking about themselves, not me. Okay, achievement. Number 2 was friends, and number 3 was pleasure. So I had achievement, friends, pleasure. Naturally, I did really well in school, which was my achievement. I had tons of friends, and I partied a lot. And then I went to college, again, achievement, friends, and I brought all my high school friends to college. I hosted the parties, fraternity, all that kind of stuff, but I kept my grades up. Achievement, friends, pleasure, and I had a lot of fun. After 26, I shifted my paradigms to mission, growth, probably goals. Mission, growth, and achievement stayed. Achievement stayed. So mission and growth and achievement. For anyone listening, most likely growth is one of your paradigms. If it wasn't, you probably would be a little bit bored and or annoyed by myself and probably Kevin as well. Most likely me. But for all of our listeners, if your number 1 paradigm is spouse, partner, relationship, and then you get it, most likely, if you step off the gas unconsciously, you might end up losing that, but you might not be as motivated because that was already what was motivating it underneath. So if you achieve that goal and all of a sudden you're not as motivated, you got to check in with your paradigm and see, Kevin used needs, I use paradigms, but it's the same concept. And when you fulfill that, are you still climbing?
Next Level Nation, what is happening? If you've thought to yourself, I want to try coaching, but you don't really know where to start, group coaching would be a wonderful place for you. That's really why we created it in the first place. We start a new round every 90 days. So if you're hearing this, go to the website, nextleveluniverse.com, and we have the landing page where you can actually hold your spot right now. Even if there's a group going on right now, you can still lock your spot for the next one. The biggest thing that we've seen is as we get closer and closer to the date, unfortunately, some people end up missing. the group fills up and they can't do it, and then they end up regretting that. So please head over to the website. The link will be in the show notes, and we would love to see you there. I'm convinced this used to be a thought that I had very early in, long before I coached as many sessions and studied as much and learned as much. I believe this is my belief, that if I stopped doing the things that I am currently doing, my relationship would not be nearly as good, because one of the reasons my relationship started in the first place is because I was ambitious. I have a firm belief that, yes, let's just say in this example, Taryn wants to spend more time with me. I'm convinced if I swung that too far, and it was like, yeah, cool, I'll just retire and then we just hang out every day, she would get sick of that very, very fast. So there is that. You have to know yourself, but you also have to understand that sometimes when you get all of what you want, you realize you actually don't want all of what you thought you wanted, because there was something there that was creating the attraction or creating the pleasure or creating the uniqueness, whatever it is. I'm using an intimate relationship in this example. But it's super important to understand that about yourself. Why are you doing what you're doing? And what is the fail-safe if you do actually get what you're doing it for? We were talking before this about how important having a mission is, whatever that means to you. I'm guilty of this in the past. When I get into a relationship, or I got into a relationship, I would stop trying to impress. Like, all right, cool, I courted, and now I have the relationship. I can kind of take my foot off the gas. I'm guilty of that for sure in the past. And that always came back to bite me in the butt. Or it would be a conversation, and I would say, hopefully I would say, yeah, you're right. Let me do better. But I'm guilty of that for sure in the past. Or when you get your dream body, whatever that means, then you start celebrating the fact that you have your dream body, and then you start doing the things that are the opposite of what got you the dream body. It's in it's in everything. It's in everything. So, early next level nugget from Kevin. Hello.
No, the body one, I've been there, man.
Oh, yeah, same.
Post show, you get the trophy,
It's
you
the
win
hardest.
first place, you win the overall, and then after that it's
What-
all the food.
We did our 10-pound and 10-week challenge. What happened after that?
the gain 10 pounds.
Yeah,
in
probably
half that time
probably
challenge.
did 10 pounds in 10 weeks. Yeah, 10 pounds in 8 weeks, maybe the other way. This isn't something that I hear a lot of people talking about. So maybe it'll be a challenge to figure out how it lands for you personally, whether you're watching or listening. But that would be my next level nugget. Look back into your past and ask yourself, where have I found success? And where did that success sabotage me? I'm guessing it probably happens to all of us in some way, shape, or form. The more aware of it you are, the better off you'll be, because you'll be able to counteract it or create more necessity. I was going to name this episode, Can You Be Too Abundant? But I didn't think that would really explain what we're going to talk about. Abundance is good. Overabundance can create lack of necessity, which then creates less abundance later, unfortunately.
Best example ever. You find these new cookies, these new bars, these new whatever. I remember I got in a Kind bar kick. Loved them. I was doing Kind bars with honey. Remember that?
I would see that.
Yeah.
I would see that from time to time.
Yep. And I just bought a bunch of Kind bars. Still have them now. I loved them so much that I bought so many of them. And now I have like 3 or 4 boxes, and I just don't care anymore. And the reason I don't care anymore is because it was a phase and because of abundance. When it's the last Kind bar, it's different. It's unique. It's special. It's significant. When there's a whole bunch of them, it's like, you know what? That was a phase. I'm good. And that's human nature, by the way. So just don't let human nature get the best of you. And there is such thing as too much abundance. And there is such thing as, resting on your laurels. And there is such thing as, Kevin and I had our biggest month, I think it was November of last year, I want to say. November of 2023. It's so weird to say last year. November, which was 2 months ago. We had our biggest month ever in business. And we said to each other, the moment it happened, it was like, do not get complacent. Do not step off the gas. Because we made that mistake early in 2022. We had a huge month. We did really, really well. Very grateful. Worked hard for it. And then I remember I'll never forget this. I'm in my office eating food at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, just watching my favorite show by myself. And then I napped on the floor. I had a yoga mat at the time on the floor, and I napped on the floor. And I remember, like, the next quarter was not very successful, not as strong as the previous quarter. And of course it's not, right? You just got a little complacent. Now, again, was I chilling all the time? No. It all depends on the mountain you're climbing. But it's an infinite game that never ends. And the last thing that I'll share is this. And Kev, you and Taryn are a great example of this. Emilia and I are a great example of this. Taryn and Emilia want positive, growth-oriented, emotionally maturing, growing, competent men. They don't want man-child who hangs out all the time and is R&Ring regularly and never growing and never contemplating and never... They want people on a mission. They want men on a mission. They want men who are serving and who are purpose-driven and who are engaged and who are learning. And yeah, of course, they want more quality time with us. But there are times in our life where I had plenty of time for quality time, and I promise you I was not as much of a catch. And I think that that's a great analogy for everyone to remember, because in the past there have been times where what attracted the relationship in the first place was goal-oriented, growth-oriented Alan. And then once I got the love and the relationship, some of that took a back seat to quality time, and then the relationship ended up suffering. And a lot of my fulfillment ended up suffering too, again, because I wasn't being myself. I wasn't in my paradigm that I chose and that I wanted to live in and that I really uncovered, because ultimately that's the case. So very last thing, my next level nugget is, what is your paradigm? If you had to pick 3, what are they? I have a PDF I can send you. Email me, alan@nextleveluniverse.com. I will send you the list of paradigms. One of them is growth, one of them is mission, one of them is goals, one of them is achievement, one of them is spouse, one of them is family. And you can just go through them. And my clients rate themselves 0 to 10 on each, and then you find the top 3. And really what that is, it's very similar to core values. It's what you filter your decision-making through.
Last thing I would say, we always talk about celebrating successes. I want you to celebrate successes, and I want you to celebrate your wins. I would rather you have the opportunity to celebrate them for a long period of time instead of celebrating them once and then losing them and having to redo the whole thing over and over and over again. So I don't want this to be a negative episode of don't celebrate. Please celebrate. You earned it. But you earned it, and I want you to have the opportunity to keep earning it, not have to do the whole thing over and over and over again. So that would be an extra next level nugget from me. If you are looking for a group of like-minded humans who are into growth, who are into self-improvement, who are aspiring to their own unique next level, please join our private Facebook group. Link will be in the show notes as always.
Everyone, I am proud to announce, Next Level Live 2024, Level Up Your Life, Love, Health, and Wealth, is 57 days, 17 hours, 3 minutes, and 52 seconds away. The link will be in the show notes. It's at the Groton Inn in Groton, Mass. There's 2 components to this. If you are local, we hope you come in person. It's going to be 30 individuals, 3 groups of 10. But we also have a virtual component. So if you are not local, aka 2 hours or less of a drive away, you can come virtually. Christina's the virtual event coordinator. She's going to make sure that she's there on Zoom with all of you. There's going to be breakout sessions. It's going to be awesome. So again, 57 days out, it is game time. We do this every single year, Next Level Live. Learn exactly how to design and achieve the most aligned, fulfilled, and successful life possible. This is the very best stuff that we've got. The ticket price is $97 for in-person. Lunch is included. That's why it's a higher price. Okay, it's actually a really good lunch, buffet style. It's going to be awesome. Beautiful venue, mountains in the background. Awesome. Kevin and I gave one of our first speeches there way back. And the virtual event is only $47. Okay, so the website is up. Click the link in the show notes. It's from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and it's going to be awesome. Come, join us, meet Kevin and myself, meet the team, breakout groups, the very best of all we've got in one day.
Right on. And if you can't come in person, the virtual that's why we're doing it. We are a global podcast, and we realize not everybody You're probably not going to take a plane across the ocean to come to a one-day event. Eventually, we'll have multi-day events, but if you want to join virtually, that is going to be a next-level experience as well. Tomorrow, for episode number 1595, we're creeping up there, almost at 1600. Month 1 check-in. We were talking on the team call. We have a team call every other Wednesday, so this past Wednesday, and everybody was talking about how they were mind-blown that it's already been a month, that we're almost through the first month, which is just wild to me. I cannot fathom it. So I thought we could do a little month 1 check-in, a little self-awareness for the end of January for an episode. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Don't rest on your successes. Next Level Nation.